welcome. As the opening image softly fades to darkness, allow your body to settle deeply into a place of quiet rest. Let the natural rhythm of your breath slow down, finding a calm and easy pace that matches the steady, peaceful atmosphere of a bygone era. Tonight, we begin a gentle journey into the quiet sanctuaries of the late Renaissance, stepping into peaceful places where early scholars sought to understand the hidden harmonies of the natural world. In these quiet rooms, surrounded by rows of glass flasks, stacks of thick leather-bound books, and the gentle scent of dried herbs and polished oak, natural philosophers cultivated an environment dedicated entirely to patience, reflection, and quiet wonder. There is no urgency here, only the soft, reassuring hum of a low flame and the tranquil, unhurried passage of time as night falls softly around us. In the historic town of Rothenburg in 1597, the scholar and alchemist Andreas Libavius published detailed architectural plans for an ideal laboratory, conceiving a sanctuary designed with great care to foster deep contemplative work and scientific study. At the heart of this ideal laboratory layout was a dedicated quiet room, constructed with double-thick stone walls and heavy pine shutters designed to protect sensitive liquid balances from ambient drafts. Within this sheltered inner chamber, shielded from the outside world by thick masonry and heavy timber, the ambient air remained completely still and undisturbed. The careful craftsman could watch the finest movements of delicate scales as liquids were measured drop by drop, confident that no stray gust or subtle temperature shift from a passing breeze would disturb the quiet equilibrium of the instruments. It was a space crafted specifically for absolute silence and calm, where peace itself became an essential tool of discovery. Farther east, during the 1590s, along the narrow cobbled lanes of Prague's Golden Lane, a similar spirit of quiet devotion lived within the modest artisan workshops. Alchemists laboring in these stone quarters relied upon self-feeding brick furnaces called athanors, designed to maintain a constant, gentle warmth burning, undisturbed for up to 40 days, built with clever internal hoppers that slowly fed fuel into the hearth as needed. These steady furnaces required no constant watching or dramatic adjustments. A soft, continuous warmth radiated outward from the warm brickwork, maintaining a mild and predictable heat that nurtured delicate distillations and long fermentations through quiet days and peaceful nights. The gentle, amber glow of the athanor filled the dimly lit room with a soothing radiance, offering a comforting sense of constancy that lasted for weeks without interruption. As you rest comfortably in the quiet darkness, imagine walking slowly through these peaceful historical laboratories. The air is warm and still, carrying the soft, pleasant aroma of aged wood and warm clay. The ember of the athanor glows with a soft, steady pulse, and the thick stone walls keep all the noise of the outer world far away. Here in this quiet space, everything moves at a restful, measured pace. There is nothing you need to accomplish or solve tonight. You may simply listen to the story of fire, metal, and ancient mystery as it unfolds gently around you. Sink a little deeper into your bed, breathe slowly, and let yourself drift into a deep and soothing sleep. Stepping softly through the arched doorway into the quiet warmth of the laboratory, the night air outside cools the heavy stone walls while inside. A gentle heat lingers like a slow, steady breath. In the quiet hours of early alchemy, fire was rarely a wild or rushing element. Instead, it was cultivated with immense patience, tended until it became an enduring hearth of soft illumination. Ancient practitioners understood that delicate transformations required time, consistency, and an even, unhurried warmth. Across dark wooden workbenches, rows of glass retorts and earthenware vessels rested in silent array, receiving the quiet radiance of low-burning coals. The subtle crackle of drying timber, paired with the soft intake of drafts through narrow brick flues, formed a soothing lullaby that anchored the scholar in a state of tranquil observation. Here, far removed from the noise of daytime streets, the workshop became a peaceful sanctuary where patience replaced haste, and where the gradual shift of heat guided raw elements toward balance and rest. To achieve such unwavering consistency, early alchemists devised clever ways to insulate their furnaces against the biting chill of winter. In 1530 Basel, physician and alchemist Paracelsus built furnace jackets from a smooth plaster of river clay, cut straw, and dried moss, keeping small oak charcoal coals glowing at a low, quiet simmer throughout cold alpine nights. This simple yet ingenious earthen insulation allowed gentle thermal energy to radiate evenly inward, protecting delicate glass vessels perched above from sudden thermal shocks. The mixture of fine river silt, resilient plant fiber, and dried forest moss bound together tightly into a thick protective shell, holding warmth close to its heart. As bitter winds swept down from surrounding snow-dusted peaks, the furnace inside remained completely undisturbed, maintaining its steady glow hour after hour. The soft, ambient heat seeped slowly into the stone masonry, filling the small laboratory with a deep, comforting dryness that invited peaceful contemplation into the early morning hours. Within this cocoon of constant warmth, the slow dance of gentle distillation proceeded at its own unhurried cadence. Droplets of clear condensation gathered silently along the smooth, curved interior of glass alembics, forming tiny beads that shimmered in amber light before trickling lazily down into waiting receiver vessels. There was no need for frantic adjustment or watchful strain. The heavy thermal mass of the clay furnace maintained its steady equilibrium effortlessly. As the oak coals gradually settled under their protective layer of pale gray ash, the ambient glow softened into a soothing twilight, casting long, gentle shadows across shelves filled with dried herbs, minerals, and leather-bound notebooks. The quiet, rhythmic warmth mirrored the natural resting pulse of a world at sleep, encouraging a quiet surrender to stillness. As midnight stretched toward the quiet hours before dawn, the alchemy of heat remained a comforting constant, bridging the boundary between curious inquiry and deep rest. The quiet sanctuary of the hearth, the mind gradually lays down its questions, content to watch the steady simmer of coals that ask for nothing more than time and quiet space. Each breath drawn in the warm, dried air brings a feeling of ease, grounding thought in the peaceful harmony of natural materials and slow processes. Outside, the alpine stars continue their silent rotation across the winter sky, while inside, the protected fire cradles its secret warmth, holding space for calm, undisturbed sleep. As dusk settles over the workshop, the flickering lantern light catches the translucent curves of glass vessels resting quietly upon the heavy oak workbench. The air smells softly of dried lavender, faint mineral dust, and sweet wood smoke from the hearth. In 1450s Padua, alchemist Bernard of Treviso sealed glass flask joints with asterisk ludum sapientiae asterisk, a smooth paste of river clay, fine sand, and egg white that slowly cured under low heat into a velvety, airtight ceramic shell. This carefully blended earth paste was smoothed across every seam with patient fingertips, ensuring that no delicate spirits or ethereal vapors could escape into the quiet evening air. Through this calm and deliberate ritual, the practitioner created a safe, self-contained environment for the liquid within to breathe undisturbed. The process demanded unhurried focus and a steady hand, honoring the old tradition that profound physical changes require total shelter from sudden drafts and outer turbulence. Beside the stove, where embers glow with a deep and comforting amber light, sit the specialized globes crafted for long, patient warmth. During the Renaissance, skilled glassmakers in Murano crafted thick-walled globes called philosophers' eggs, which alchemists nested inside warm beds of sifted wood ash to gently incubate solutions at human body temperature for months. Within these sturdy, egg-shaped vessels, liquid mixtures rested untroubled by the changing seasons outside, undergoing an extraordinarily gradual distillation. The soft wood ash acted as a natural insulator, distributing mild heat evenly around the glass without exposing the delicate contents to direct flames. Day after day, faint trickles of moisture would form along the inner ceiling of the globe, gathering into tiny translucent droplets that slid lazily back into the base. There was never any hurry in this practice. Time moved at the unhurried pace of falling autumn leaves, measured not by ticking mechanisms, but by the quiet evolution of color and clarity inside the glass. In the soothing hush of the laboratory, keeping watch over these cradled globes brings a profound sense of restful calm. The soft bed of ash cushions each sphere like a protective nest, holding the gentle warmth through the long night, while the stars slowly drift across the dark sky. One can feel the peaceful rhythm of the work, where human intervention yields entirely to the silent passage of time and constant warmth. The practitioner rests nearby in a comfortable chair, listening to the soft whisper of the night breeze beyond the shuttered windows, content to let nature complete its delicate task. Every flask remains secure, its ceramic seal firm and its ash bed cozy, holding its quiet potential in complete tranquility, until the morning light softly touches the room once more. As dusk settles over the quiet hearths of early workshops, the work of the alchemist naturally softens into a restful rhythm of watching and waiting. Long before high-temperature furnaces and fierce blazes dominated the craft, early natural philosophers recognized that true transformation often required the gentlest, most patient application of warmth. In 3rd century Alexandria, the alchemist Mary the prophetess devised the Bain-Marie asterisk, a double-nested copper vessel that kept gentle liquids at a perfectly constant, low simmer without ever scorching delicate botanicals or minerals. This double-nested vessel allowed sensitive plant tinctures, floral waters, and soft mineral extracts to steep undisturbed for hours upon end, buffered by the surrounding bath against the unpredictable intensity of direct flame. The soft steam rose in slow, translucent tendrils, curling upward into the quiet air of the laboratory, while the copper held the inner flask in a steady, protective embrace. In this tranquil balance, liquids rested at the quiet threshold of transformation, slowly releasing their subtle essences as the ancient city beyond the workshop doors grew still beneath the darkening sky. Across the centuries, this deep appreciation for steady conditions and gentle thermal insulation became a cornerstone of experimental practice, guiding scholars who sought to understand the quiet laws of nature. In 1609 Marburg, alchemist Johannes Hartmann established Europe's first university chemistry laboratory, instructing students to cushion delicate glass receivers inside wooden boxes packed with dry oat husks to absorb ambient vibrations and maintain a steady temperature overnight. These wooden containers, carefully constructed by local artisans, acted as small sanctuaries of calm within the academic hall. Every thin-walled glass flask was nested with deliberate slowness, surrounded by light, golden husks that shielded the fragile vessel from sudden drafts of night air and the micro-tremors of footsteps traversing stone corridors. As the evening chill settled over the university grounds, the dry oat husks retained the lingering warmth of the day's experiments, allowing delicate chemical mixtures to rest in profound stillness throughout the long, quiet hours. There is a profound beauty in these quiet methods of preservation, where the goal was not to force rapid change through overwhelming heat, but to cultivate an environment of absolute constancy and peace. The glowing copper of the Alexandrian water bath and the soft, dry scent of packed oats in Marburg both served the same fundamental purpose: to guard delicate materials against sudden shocks, thermal shifts, and restless movements. Within these sheltered spaces, reactions unfolded at nature's own unhurried pace. The subtle movements within the liquid were imperceptible to the human eye, occurring with the effortless grace of a leaf turning slowly in a motionless pond. As night deepens, the laboratory grows silent save for the occasional soft creak of settling timber and the low, comforting presence of lingering warmth held within heavy stone walls. The glass receivers rest soundly in their beds of chaff, while copper pots release their final wisps of steam into the dim, tranquil chamber. In this slow and measured stillness, the early seekers of physical truth allowed time itself to perform the finest refinement, resting with the quiet assurance that patience alone unlocks nature's deepest secrets. The shadows lengthen across the workbench, wrapping every instrument in a soothing mantle of repose, inviting a peaceful rest until the first soft glow of dawn. As night settles over the quiet scriptoriums and stone vaults of early European laboratories, the intense heat of daytime labor gives way to a softer, gentler warmth. Low embers rest comfortably within hearths of brick and mortar, casting a warm, steady glow across long rows of hand-blown glass vessels, ceramic retorts, and polished brass instruments resting on sturdy oak benches. In these quiet and peaceful hours, the work of the early natural philosopher becomes a deep meditation on patience, guided not by haste or sudden transformation, but by the quiet, orderly cycles of subtle heat and gradual cooling. The air is still, carrying the faint, comforting aroma of clean wood ash, dried lavender, and soft beeswax candles. Outside, the gentle night breeze rustles softly through the leaves of ancient abbey courtyard trees, while inside, the ambient warmth keeps the sanctuary protected against the gathering night chill. Scholars of the late medieval world viewed these nocturnal processes as delicate dialogues with nature, where gentle warmth allowed substances to yield their essential qualities slowly, matching the steady, unhurried pace of the distant stars turning above. Within this serene sanctuary of study, specialized vessels played a vital role in capturing and guiding the slow movement of air and liquid. Among the most cherished of these instruments was a uniquely shaped glass vessel, meticulously designed to mimic the natural world's endless cycles of evaporation and gentle rainfall. In 15th century Yorkshire, English canon and alchemist George Ripley utilized a twin-tubed glass flask called a pelican, in which warm vapors continuously condensed and trickled endlessly back into the quiet base in a rhythmic, self-circulating loop. The vessel drew its evocative name from its distinctive shape, whose curved twin tubes resembled a mother bird, bending her long neck down toward her breast. Watching the vessel work by the soft, dim light of oil lamps offered a deeply restful and comforting sight. Vapors would rise smoothly from the gently heated base, ascending into the upper chamber, where the cooler air outside the glass turned them into clear, glistening beads of moisture. These droplets would gather together until their own weight carried them gliding down the smooth, curving side arms, returning softly to the bottom to begin their journey anew. This continuous, closed loop offered more than just chemical refinement. It provided a soothing visual rhythm that mirrored the soft cadences of natural breath. Nothing was lost to the open air, and nothing was forced beyond its natural inclination. The liquid within the glass moved in harmony with the gentle rise and fall of low warmth, demonstrating how transformation could unfold through patience and quiet repetition rather than flame or stress. Each cycle of gentle heating and silent condensation served to clarify the liquid within, leaving behind heavy, unrefined residues while allowing the lighter, clearer elements to circulate freely without end. As the late hours passed toward midnight, the steady, rhythmic trickle inside the glass twin tubes created a peaceful sanctuary of deep focus and quiet calm. Surrounded by leather-bound manuscripts and the silent tools of natural philosophy, the alchemist could rest in the quiet assurance that nature operates in beautiful, predictable circles, bringing deep tranquility to the mind, just as the self-containing flask brought harmony to the elements within. As night settles deeply over the ancient city of Kufa, the quiet workshop of the polymath scholar rests in a soft, flickering glow. Within this peaceful sanctuary, the gentle rhythm of early chemistry unfolds not with sudden transformations, but through the slow, patient breath of warm glass vessels. In 8th century Kufa, scholar Jabir ibn Hayyan developed the glass alembic still, observing pure white ammonium chloride crystals condense smoothly inside the curved dome like dry winter frost. The glass, transparent and cool to the touch at its upper neck, allowed the eyes of the alchemist to watch vapor rise like quiet smoke, gathering into delicate geometric patterns upon the inner surface of the alembic vessel. There is a soothing stillness in watching vapors transform, a process that requires neither haste nor force, only a subtle, steady heat beneath the bath of sand. The vessel holds the heat with silent grace, letting the elements separate and reform in their own unhurried, natural time. In the silence of the night, each small drop forming on the glass ceiling becomes a meditation on purity and order, reflecting the slow movement of stars across the sky outside the high archways. Centuries later, amidst the sunlit stone walls and quiet courtyard gardens of southern France, a similar spirit of peaceful inquiry breathed through the quiet laboratory of a Franciscan monastery. Here, within quiet alcoves filled with dried herbs and handwritten parchment, the pursuit of distillation, focused on capturing the life-giving essences of plants and wines, seeking remedies that could soothe the spirit and warm the body. In 1330 Montpellier, Franciscan alchemist John of Rupecissa distilled wine spirits through multi-tiered glass receivers, collecting an ultra-pure asterisk aqua vitae that evaporated so gently from warm polished wood it left behind only a delicate scent of dried lavender and rosemary. The clarity of the liquid was like liquid glass itself, carrying with it the quiet memory of sun-drenched vineyards and herbal hillsides. As tiny drops brushed against the polished workbench, the air grew light with aromatic warmth, turning the work of distillation into a tranquil sensory retreat. The multi-tiered glass vessels stacked softly like transparent towers, guiding the delicate vapors through successive cool chambers, where every harshness was gently left behind, leaving only the purest, most comforting essence of the vine. These early masters of the furnace understood that true alchemy was an art of patient observation, where heat was managed like a quiet lullaby and liquids moved with fluid ease. In both 8th century Cufa and 14th century France, the alchemical laboratory was not a place of loud, dramatic chaos, but a timeless sanctuary of quiet focus, where the subtle laws of nature were observed with steady reverence. The soft, golden glow of coals warming the sand bath, the gentle rise of invisible steam, and the slow, rhythmic dripping of purified liquids into dark amber glass jars create a soothing cadence that lulls the restless mind into peaceful rest. As night deepens, the fire slowly cools into glowing embers, and the last wisps of vapor settle within the glass domes. The laboratory sleeps under a soft blanket of stillness, resting quietly in shadows until the morning sun returns to warm the stone floor. In the quiet stillness of the evening laboratory, where heavy stone walls retain the soothing warmth of the afternoon sun, the alchemist's work moves at the steady, unhurried pace of deep breathing. Beneath low, vaulted ceilings, flickering shadows dance slowly across earthenware brickwork, and long rows of carefully arranged glass vessels resting upon sturdy wooden shelves. It was in such a tranquil setting, in 1604 Krakow, that Polish alchemist Michael Sendivogius gently roasted saltpeter in a clay retort, capturing an invisible aerial spirit that caused fading amber coals to softly glow without producing smoke. This subtle, unseen breath of the earth seemed to whisper of quiet forces residing within all matter, comforting in its gentle presence. As the soft heat filled the peaceful chamber, the vessel stood as a silent testament to patience, revealing how elements interact not through force, but through a slow and harmonious alignment. The fading embers yielded a soft, luminous warmth, cradling the atmosphere of the room in a gentle embrace that encourages the mind to settle and unwind like the steady, tranquil cooling of the hearth fire. Further south, amidst the rolling hills and timeless beauty of Renaissance Italy, another master of fire and material sought to capture light itself in an enduring, tranquil form. In 1612 Florence, alchemist Antonio Neri combined pure gold chloride with molten silica inside earthenware crucibles, producing a translucent ruby glass that transformed harsh sunlight into a serene, velvety crimson glow. When light filtered through these handcrafted panes, it softened the sharpness of the outer world, bathing the surrounding workspace in a tranquil, comforting hue. The delicate process demanded immense patience, allowing the molten mixture to settle quietly inside thick clay walls until the transformation was complete and the glass cooled to a smooth, soothing touch. This delicate harmony of gold and silica demonstrated how raw elements could be lifted into soft art, calming the eyes of anyone who watched the evening daylight drift lazily through the crimson window. The rich, soothing tones served as a quiet reminder of the deep beauty that emerges when nature is guided by gentle, steady hands. As the late evening deepens into night, the entire laboratory settles into a peaceful, rhythmic silence. The glowing coals slowly turn to soft gray ash, releasing their final lingering warmth into the quiet air. Across the wide oak tables, the pestles, mortars, and polished copper stills rest undisturbed, having fulfilled their quiet purpose for the day. Every glass vessel holds a story of calm observation, where earth, air, fire, and mineral rest together in quiet balance. Outside the leaded windows, the cool night air washes softly over the quiet streets, carrying away the busy worries of the day and leaving behind only a profound sense of still harmony. In this peaceful sanctuary of discovery, where heat softens into gentle shadow and bright light yields to comforting dark, the mind naturally releases its thoughts, drifting effortlessly toward a tranquil rest. The quiet stillness enfolds the room in complete peace, inviting a deep, restorative, and dreamless sleep. As twilight deepens over the ancient city, the quiet rhythm of the laboratory slows to a gentle murmur. Long after the heat of the day has faded, a soft warmth lingers near the hearth, where embers glow like faint stars. In the surrounding darkness, shadow and light weave together across stone benches and polished vessels, creating a peaceful haven dedicated to subtle transformations. It was in just such a calm atmosphere during the 4th century in Panopolis that early practitioners sought to understand the hidden nature of metals. Here along the Nile, where ancient craft merged with natural philosophy, the study of matter was a patient observation of nature's quietest secrets. Every breath of air encouraged a slow rhythm of work that mirrored the steady, silent turning of the night sky. In this tranquil setting, Egyptian alchemist Sissimos refined the asterisk kerotakes, a closed copper cylinder where warm sulfur vapors rose silently to gild suspended silver sheets into soft, iridescent gold leaves. The design of this specialized apparatus allowed the delicate fumes to ascend smoothly from the lower reservoir, rising up to coat the metal suspended in the upper chamber without ever exposing it to a violent flame. As the vapors reached the cooler top of the vessel, they condensed into tiny droplets that trickled softly back down to the base, completing an endless, soothing cycle of circulation. Watching this mist rise and fall behind sealed copper walls asked only for patient attention, while the silver slowly surrendered its bright sheen to absorb warm hues of amber and shimmering gold. To those watching in the quiet room, the transformation of the silver leaf was a peaceful harmony between element and form. The subtle shifting of colors upon the metal surface was viewed as a gentle refining process, akin to the mind settling into calm reflection after a long day. As the warm mist enveloped the thin metal sheets, the boundary between solid earth and invisible air dissolved into a restful equilibrium. There was no acrid smoke, no harsh crackling of timber, only the silent drift of element meeting element in a protected space. In the sanctuary of the laboratory, time itself seemed to slow down completely, aligned with the gradual cooling of the vessel and the soft rise of thermal currents within its dark copper interior. Now, as the night grows deeper and the last embers in the hearth settle into gray ash, the laboratory cools into stillness. The sealed copper cylinder rests quietly upon its stand, its internal mist having cleared into peace, leaving behind only the delicate, gilded leaves resting undisturbed in the dark. The gentle warmth that filled the room slowly recedes, giving way to the cool breeze of night. It is a moment to let go of all effort, allowing the calm order of the ancient world to wrap around you like a comforting blanket. Under the wide, starlit canopy, all work is ended, inviting a deep and unbroken rest as the quiet hours stretch softly toward the dawn. As the evening deepens and quiet settles over the historical laboratory, the steady rhythm of scientific inquiry slows to a soothing, restful cadence. In these tranquil hours after dusk, when the shadows stretch softly across stone hearths and wooden work tables, the focus of early chemistry gently shifted from the fiery pursuit of precious metals toward the subtle wonders hidden within common earth and mineral salts. The air inside the workshop grew still, filled only with the faint sound of cooling embers, the soft rustle of parchment notes, and the slow, rhythmic tick of water dripping into polished glass collection basins set along the shelves. Here, in the calm expanse of late night, researchers sought to understand the quiet forces that govern how substances interact when given time to settle. Rather than seeking dramatic transmutations, these patient observers found deep contentment in the quiet behavior of solutions, crystals, and fine clays, watching as orderly, serene structures emerged naturally and peacefully from simple, unpretentious ingredients. It was during one such quiet period of study that a remarkable thermal property was uncovered within simple salts, revealing how heat could be drawn away into a refreshing stillness. In 1648, Amsterdam, alchemist Johann Rudolf Glauber mixed common salt with vitriol to yield clear, needle-like crystals of sodium sulfate, which absorbed heat so rapidly when dissolved in water that the vessel grew pleasantly ice cold to the touch. As Glauber observed the reaction, the slender, delicate crystals dissolved smoothly into the clear liquid, drawing warmth inward with surprising swiftness and ease, leaving a soft mist of atmospheric condensation clinging to the exterior of the glass container. Holding the chilled glass flask in hand offered a peaceful, cooling sensation that seemed almost miraculous. Yet it was simply the natural world demonstrating its capacity for thermal balance and quiet equilibrium. The salt, later known as Glauber's salt, became a cherished compound in early medicine and laboratory craft throughout the continent, admired both for its pleasant cooling nature and for the orderly elegance of its shimmering, needle-shaped crystalline form. This same gentle patience allowed other secret crafts of the earth to reveal themselves across the quiet landscapes of Europe. Decades later, amidst the rolling hills and dense woodlands of Saxony, another remarkable transformation was unfolded through the controlled harmony of fire, stone, and time. In 1708, Dresden, alchemist Johann Friedrich Bircher fired precise mixtures of white kale and clay and ground alabaster inside wood-fueled kilns, yielding a smooth, translucent white ceramic that rang with a quiet, musical chime when tapped. When the heavy doors of the kiln were finally opened after days of careful cooling, revealing the snow-white vessels within, the resulting porcelain appeared exceptionally smooth and delicate, holding the softest glow of ambient candle flame within its thin, vitrified walls. Tapping the finished vessel produced a clear, lingering tone that drifted softly through the silent workshop, much like the gentle ring of a distant chime dying away in the evening air. As the kiln fires dim to glowing cinders, and the last faint echoes fade into stillness, these enduring discoveries remain as quiet reminders of nature's balance, guiding the tired mind toward a quiet and peaceful rest as deep night fully envelops the laboratory. As the deep, soothing quiet of night settles over the historic hearths of 17th century Europe, the laboratory turns into a sanctuary of slow, meditative observation. Here, far removed from the busy demands of the daytime world, the intense, glowing heat of the furnace forge gradually lowers into a soft, ember-lit warmth that fills the quiet room. In 1665, at his Oxford laboratory, natural philosopher Robert Boyle melted pure bismuth over soft coals, documenting how the cooling metal gradually quieted into terraced, step-like crystals that gleamed with soft hues of iridescent blue and violet. The transformation unfolded with a serene, patient rhythm, each delicate geometric layer forming as the molten liquid surrendered its remaining heat to the cool surrounding air. Watching the smooth surface shift from a fluid mirror into a structured architectural landscape offered a peaceful moment of quiet wonder, where nature revealed its hidden symmetries and subterranean geometry without haste or disruption. The faint, shifting shimmer of cobalt blues, deep purples, and gentle violet tones across the settling metal reflected the soft glow of dying coals, creating a tranquil scene where matter itself seemed to breathe out and rest. A similar sense of stillness echoed through the quiet stone quarters of Cambridge during the late 1670s, where Isaac Newton spent long, solitary evenings attending to his own carefully arranged furnaces. In his Cambridge laboratory during the late 1670s, Isaac Newton meticulously logged the cooling rates of molten antimony, watching it solidify into delicate silver star patterns across the vessel floor. With patient precision, quiet meticulous care, and unwavering focus, he recorded every subtle change in temperature, noting how the glowing fluid gradually calmed into a motionless, restful state. As the liquid metal cooled, radiant, branch-like rays spread softly outward from the vessel's center, blossoming across the dark container floor like silver frost tracing a window pane in midwinter. These delicate star-like shapes, celebrated by ancient artisans as marks of cosmic order, took form through the quiet, orderly arrangement of cooling atoms as warmth gently ebbed into the surrounding shadows. The slow, rhythmic sound of Newton's quill moving across paper and the soft hum of the night air were the only companions to this metamorphosis, deepening the peaceful atmosphere of the room. These nocturnal explorations into the silent behavior of cooling metals highlight a profound, gentle bridge between early alchemy and the historic birth of modern experimental science. In the quiet, shadow-draped atmosphere of their workshops, early natural philosophers sat by fading embers, observing the gradual calming of molten matter with patient, restful attention, to watch heavy, glowing metals transition from liquid fire into cold, elegant geometric forms was to see nature finding its natural rest and perfect balance. As the last traces of lingering heat dissipated into the cool evening air, a deep sense of stillness settled over the stone hearth, as though the elements themselves had completed their long work and entered a state of quiet slumber. In these long, calm hours of watching and waiting, the nocturnal laboratory served as a gentle, quiet sanctuary from the outer world, where fire, metal, and ancient mystery surrendered to the peaceful, rhythmic passage of time, softly inviting the resting mind to follow their slow, unwinding rhythm into a place of deep, restorative sleep. As night deepened over the hearths of 16th century Europe, the alchemist's sanctuary became a haven of quiet contemplation, where the fierce brilliance of daytime labor softened into the low, amber glow of dying embers. Within these shadow-draped chambers, the intricate art of chemistry was less a storm of frantic discovery and more a slow, meditative dialogue with patience and time. The air retained the warm, comforting scent of ground minerals, dried botanical herbs, and ancient oak wood, while the soft, rhythmic puff of small leather bellows provided a gentle, reassuring pulse against the surrounding dark. Softly illuminated by the embers, vessels of thick stoneware, iron retorts, and hand-blown glass rested upon sturdy wooden worktables, holding secrets of tincture and transmutation that had passed down through quiet centuries. Here, far removed from the noisy clamor of busy city streets, practitioners sought not merely elusive riches, but a deeper understanding of the fundamental purity hidden within the raw earth. Every flame was tended with soft and meticulous care, allowed to whisper gently across the base of round-bottomed vessels, coaxing stubborn metals to release their dross in their own unhurried, natural cadence. In this peaceful atmosphere of watchful tranquility, specific traditional techniques evolved to reveal the unblemished essence of precious materials through the gradual absorption of unwanted elements. During 1550 in Paris, alchemist Denis Jabir watched molten lead and silver settle inside porous bone ash crucibles, waiting for the exact instant when oxidized impurities vanished into the ash, leaving behind a perfectly still, mirror-bright surface called the silver blick. This subtle phenomenon, occurring at the culmination of cupellation, was a moment of profound serenity for those who observed it. The bone ash, ground finely from burnt animal bone and carefully pressed into compact, dish-shaped hearths, possessed a unique microscopic texture capable of drawing in the molten litharge or lead oxide like a sponge sipping liquid. As the dark dross sank completely into the white porosity below, the turbulent film across the liquid pool cleared away in a single, breath-like instant of movement, yielding to an unblemished, luminous reflection. To Jabir and his observant contemporaries, this transient flash was far more than a technical milestone. It was a quiet, tangible symbol of clarity arising from chaos, a brief alignment where metal, fire, and mind seemed to achieve complete rest together under the flickering candlelight. The pristine stillness of that silver mirror matched the peaceful silence slowly settling over the entire laboratory as the furnace fire receded into soft gray ash. Watching the newly purified pool cool into a heavy, gleaming button of solid metal, the tired alchemist could finally rest his eyes, trusting completely in the steady, timeless laws of nature that governed every transformation. The intense heat of the furnace faded into a gentle, radiant warmth, wrapping the room in a blanket of quiet ease that invited slow breathing and restful thoughts. Outside the stone walls, the night sky held its calm and silent watch over Paris, while inside, the cool surface of the refined metal reflected only the softest glimmering starlight drifting through the high chamber window. With every quiet breath, the heavy labors of the day dissolved into the gentle rhythms of the evening, leaving behind an enduring sense of harmony, balance, and peaceful rest. As twilight deepens over the old stone workshops of Renaissance Europe, the once vibrant fires of the forge soften into quiet, velvet embers. The day's long distillations settle into a peaceful stillness, and the heavy atmosphere of smoke, herb, and steam gradually yields to the gentle, soothing cool of the night air. In these hushed and tranquil hours, the alchemist's bench becomes a sanctuary of quiet observation, where noble metals, mineral salts, and delicate liquids rest in undisturbed order. In 1575, Prague, court physician and alchemist Tadeusz Hayyan preserved pure liquid mercury beneath a calm layer of pressed walnut oil inside tall crystal phials, keeping the silvery liquid completely motionless and free from dust for months. Beneath that golden coat of protective oil, the mirror-like surface of the quicksilver remained perfectly tranquil, capturing the faint ambient light of the room without a single ripple. There is a profound and comforting beauty in such complete stillness, serving as a gentle reminder that the most profound transformations often require patience, quiet resting, and unhurried time. The heavy crystal vessels stand like silent, watchful guardians along the polished timber shelves, holding their luminous liquid secrets in absolute repose. As the outer world grows dark, quiet, and still, beyond the tall arched windows, the evening shadows stretch gently across narrow cobblestone streets, while inside the laboratory, only the softest and most delicate glows remain to illuminate the darkness. The steady, quiet work of ancient philosophy reveals its subtle wonders not through harsh flame or rapid heat, but through the calm, sustained warmth of fading coals. In 1669 Hamburg, alchemist Hennig Brand slowly distilled organic mineral salts over soft charcoal embers, discovering elemental phosphorus, which emitted a faint, cold green glow in total darkness. This ethereal element did not burn with heat or violent spark, but instead emanated a serene, calm light that seemed to soften the surrounding shadows. Observing such a quiet illumination, one feels the gentle and soothing rhythm of natural discovery, a slow unfolding that requires neither haste nor noise, only quiet attention in the restful stillness of midnight. The pale, cool radiance rests softly upon the curved glass surfaces of retorts, allegories, and clay vessels, painting the quiet workshop in comforting shades of emerald and soft mist. Now, the last remaining embers slowly flicker down into soft, pale gray ash, and the entire laboratory surrenders completely to the restorative peace of the night. Every copper tool has been laid down, every glass phial set safely within its cushioned wooden rack, and the lingering, gentle warmth of the hearth fills the room like a comforting blanket. The long, fascinating journey through fire, metal, and ancient mystery reaches its natural, peaceful conclusion. inviting the weary mind to release all waking thoughts and drift gently into deep tranquility. As the faint, cold green luminescence and the silvery sheen of tranquil mercury rest silently together in the dark, the quiet laboratory slumbers, safe, warm, and peaceful until the morning light returns. Allow your breath to slow, matching the steady, calming rhythm of the resting hearth, and let yourself float effortlessly into a deep, dreamless, and restful sleep.